I know you prepared some questions that you hear often from customers about tech packs, so we're going to try to reveal the mysteries of what they are, why they're important, how to get them done, and things like that.
Yes, you hit the nail on the head. You know, we get questions all the time about the importance of tech packs, and we kind of want to break it down. So if you wanted to start, Mindy, by just kind of clarifying, you know, what is a tech pack?
Great. So essentially, a tech pack is a blueprint. So think of it like when an architect draws a blueprint for a builder. And that's essentially what it is. It's the tech designer is planning out the garment and how it's going to be built. So as an architect does with a blueprint, you want to think about, how does the builder know what kind of wood to use? How does the builder know what kind of bricks to use? How does the builder know whether you want steel beams or aluminum beams, right? How does the builder know what size the room is? How does the builder know how many bathrooms you want? It's through the blueprint, right? So a tech pack is essentially a blueprint where we're talking to the manufacturer, so the pattern maker, the sewer, the cutting person, on how to build it. What size is it? How many pockets does it have? How is it going to be put together? What is it made out of? What kind of buttons is it using? So the tech pack is really important to controlling the quality of the outcome of your product.
Great, great. And, you know, why is it important to have for a manufacturer? You know, why do they ask that? Ask for it?
Sure. So a manufacturer, so if you've been looking for a manufacturer for your clothing line, you've probably been asked for a tech pack. And the reason why they're asking is, first of all, the tech pack, they can tell pretty quickly if they're a good fit to make your product for you. So do they have the right machinery? Do they have the right skill set to make your type of product? That is really important for a manufacturer to know before they even tell you they can work with you. So the tech pack's going to tell them that. And the other reason they're asking is to start giving you some sort of pricing. It's really hard for a manufacturer to give pricing off of just a picture. Because on a picture, you can't tell what's going on inside of the garment. There's always hidden things inside. You know, like I have this blazer, you know, how much interfacing is inside of it? What does the lining look like? Are there pockets
internally?
Yeah, so those are the kind of things they want to know, so they understand how much labor goes into the garment so they can give you a good price.
Yeah. As you know, Mindy, you know, we've seen our fair share of good and bad tech packs. So, you know, what could happen if you have a bad tech pack?
Really good question. We have seen some bad ones. So I think actually a nightmarish scenario can kind of happen if you have a bad tech pack. There's a lot of places out there right now that are offering tech packs up, you know, maybe college students looking for some extra money. You can put together a tech pack that looks impressive, I guess. You know, you can draw some stuff and you can put in some numbers for sizing. But unless a tech pack is made by a professional who's been working in the manufacturing sector of the industry for a long time, you can really run into a lot of quality problems. So you might have saved a couple $100s on your tech pack that was made by that college student. But when you get into manufacturing, you could be losing tens of thousands of dollars because that tech pack didn't give them enough information to make sure it was sewn together correctly, or the proper trims were used, or it was fitting correctly, and they're going to end up with a bunch of bad inventory. So it's very, very important to find that right professional.
Of course. I'm so glad you elaborated on the cost aspect of, you know, how much money it could possibly save you down the line. You know, what would you say is the difference between a fashion illustration and a tech pack?
Good question. So a fashion illustration is more of a drawing that gives you like a feeling of what the garment is supposed to be. Again, I could talk about my blazer. You could put together a really pretty drawing of like a woman wearing a blazer and kind of what you want her to wear it with, and it's going to look really beautiful, and it's going to be a good start to your clothing line.
Sure.
But what it's missing is the next step, which is that flat illustration which goes into a tech pack. And what it's missing is, those flat illustrations are a little more boring looking, but they're really conveying a ton of important information, like where's the stitching, where exactly are the pockets, what kind of pockets are we going to put on.
Yes.
I was telling you earlier today, if it's like a snap drawn on a fashion illustration, it might just see 3 little circles going down the front of a garment. But on a technical illustration for a tech pack, it's going to be like drawn exactly what kind of buttons or snaps it is, exactly down to how many holes are in the buttons.
Yes.
What are the buttons made out of? What color are they? What are the size? Like, those are the things that get really important, because if you're not telling the factory how to do it, they just have to guess.
They're assuming.
Yep. They just have to guess what you want, and they can't read your mind, and they're going to choose generally a lower quality thing because it's going to be cheaper and it's going to save them money.
Understood. Understood. Now, how does a tech pack or a tech design, initial tech design, you prep the patterning team?
Sure. So, good question. So, first of all, a lot of people get confused between what a tech pack is and a pattern. So they are two different things. A tech pack is like the blueprint, and the pattern is the cut file, or it's the shapes of the fabric that get cut out. It's made by an engineer, but they're two essential parts to getting a garment made correctly. But if you have a good tech pack, then that's one of your first steps. So in our steps, it happens in step one, design. We really do a good portion of that tech pack work in step one. Then we move into step two, and it goes to the pattern maker, and that pattern maker has a ton of information of what is expected. What exactly it looks like, what exactly like the pockets are made out of.
Yes.
How many, what is the length, how do you want the neckline to hit? All of that information is in there and ready for the pattern maker, so they don't have to guess.
Of course.
We are a factory. We have several people working here, and that's how every factory is. So when you're the brand owner and you want that pattern maker to understand what's in your brain, it is the best way to do it. We can't expect that pattern maker to understand what you were thinking or hoping for, or the level of quality that you wanted.
Sure.
So it really is going to help you set up success. And the really big thing, it's going to save you money, a lot of money, because the number of prototypes that you're going to go through are going to be a lot less. So if you start with a good tech pack and a good plan, you're going to be looking at 2 to 3 rounds of prototyping. If you start with prototyping, like a lot of people want to do, they just want to jump right into make me my sample.
Yes.
You're probably going to be looking at 6, 8, maybe even 10 rounds of prototyping. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to run out of funds, because you've been developing forever.
Yeah.
And you're probably just going to give up. So we've seen that time and time again. I mean, how many people have called us that said, I've already been working on this product for 2 years, and it's still not to where I wanted it to be.
Sad to say it's true.
Yeah.
And they did jump right into prototyping most of the time.
Yeah, they skipped that planning portion, which is really important.
Yes. Now, how would you say working with a tech designer is different than working with a graphic designer or graphic artist?
Sure. Good question. So a tech designer is trained in the apparel industry. They understand things like fabric types and trims, and they understand construction methods.
Yes.
They also understand sizing, which is really important. It's the #1 cause of returns, actually.
Yeah.
So if you're a brand owner and you have bad sizing, that's where you can really lose your money, is you start getting returns because they're not fitting right. So that's what they're trained in. And then a graphic designer they absolutely have the skills to draw a pretty garment, and draw it up. And so it can be the starting point, but it by no means is the ending point, right?
Yeah.
If people come to us with a drawing from a graphic designer, that's great, but we are definitely going to have to turn it into, has to like flow through the technical team to get ready to be a prototype. And so all of those details need to be added to it. What's missing? How is it going to be constructed? A graphic designer is not going to be trained or understand how to do that.
Well, it's a great inspirational tool, though.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for elaborating more about the tech pack process and working with a tech designer. I think it will help a lot of people. Again, these are questions we get asked all the time. And we have the wonderful Apparel Academy, which can also help in any of your development process and figuring out how to make your line come to fruition. And
so check us out, theapparelacademy.com, or if you're ready to jump in and get your clothing line made, clothierdesignsource.com. We kind of run both of those companies, so we have the factory that we run, and then we also do that education portion of it. So contact us, check it out, and we hope to hear from you soon.